everyone, welcome back to my at-home workout series. I've got a 15-minute workout for you today. All you're going to need is a set of dumbbells and a mat. We'll start with a warm-up, go through a circuit, and finish with a cool-down. Let's do it. We are starting our warm-up off with some arm circles. We'll do 20 seconds each direction. So right about now, we're going to switch directions. Whatever direction you started with, just do the reverse. This warm-up is going to help loosen up our joints and warm up our muscles so that we're ready to get started when we hit the circuit. Next up, we have some leg swings. So choose a leg to start with and just start swinging forward and backward. This is going to help loosen up our hips a little bit. When you're ready, go ahead and switch sides and do the same thing on the other leg. Next up, we have some hip openers. So lift that knee up and do a half circle as you're opening your hip up to the side. Set your foot down before lifting it back up, bringing it back to the center, resetting and switching sides. Finish up that last side before making your way down to the mat where we're going to do some bird dogs. This is going to be our activating exercise where we start to activate all our muscles. Keep the movements nice and slow. Extend opposite arm and opposite leg. Reach it out, stretch, and bring it back to the mat before switching sides. Keep doing this for about 15 more seconds and then we will get started on our circuit. Awesome job on that warm-up, you guys. We are ready to get started on our circuit. We've got 2 rounds today, 40 seconds on for each exercise, and we're going to keep that heart rate nice and elevated because we are only taking a 10-second break in between each movement. The first movement we have is goblet squats to calf raises. Hold that dumbbell close to your chest as you slowly lower down, then push the floor away as you bring yourself back up. Finish the movement off by lifting your heels off the mat for that calf raise. Reset and do the movement all over again. If you need a modified version, lose the dumbbell and or lose the calf raises. So just do a body weight squat instead. You have 10 seconds left before we switch to our next movement, which is hammer curls to shoulder press. Nice job on that first exercise, you guys. When we get to this rest screen, you'll always see a little preview box in the bottom right corner to show you what movement we have coming up. Next is hammer curls to shoulder press. Keep those dumbbells in a neutral grip. Slowly bring them up to your shoulders before pressing them above your head. Be sure not to hyperextend those elbows. Slowly lower them back down to your shoulders and lower them again back down to your sides. If you'd like a modified version for this exercise, just stick with the hammer curls alone. You can see a little preview box in the lower right corner for the modified options in each of these exercises. For this one, we're just removing the press and sticking to that hammer curl. Great job, guys. Next up, we have everyone's favorite. Can you sense the sarcasm in my voice there? Reverse lunges. So pick your weight and let's get started. Maybe it's just me who doesn't like lunges, but they get the job done, let me tell you that. So we're going to start at the top of our mat, one leg at a time. We're going to bring it back before lowering down, keeping a 90-degree angle in both of our knees if we can. Do not slam that knee down on the ground. We want to lower as slow and controlled as possible before stepping back up to where we started and switching legs. For the modified version, we're going to do a split squat, so stagger your stance, keep your feet on train tracks, not a balance beam to help with that balance. Slowly lower down, keeping the 90-degree angle in your knees before pressing back up. If you did choose to do the modified version, remember what side you did because on our next round, round 2, we'll switch legs so that you can even out the movement. All right, our next movement, we're giving the glute some love. We're gonna do some fire hydrants with extensions. If you want a modified version, just remove the extension and simply stick to the fire hydrants alone. We're keeping our knee at a 90-degree angle as we lift it up to the side and kick it out for that extension. We are alternating between legs, so once you finish the movement on one side, reset and start the movement on the next side. If you are anything like me and flexibility is not your strong suit, don't worry about lifting your knee up high. Just worry about the activation that you feel in your glutes to get it off the mat. You guys are killing this workout. We've got 3 more exercises left in this first round, and I'll give you a bit of a longer break. But of course, if you need a break, please pause this video, get some water, have some rest. But if you're with me, let's set up for our next exercise, which is a plank hold with rows. If you need a modified version, put your knees down on the mat. Further back your knees are, the harder and more difficult the movement will be. While you're holding that plank, we are also going to be doing some dumbbell rows. It is much safer to do this if you have a set of dumbbells that have flat surfaces rather than being round. So just know what your limitations are with your equipment. But if you're with me, we are going to start with those dumbbells below our shoulders, and then we're going to drive our elbows up to bring the dumbbell toward our sides before lowering it back down and resetting to switch sides. All right, y'all, when you're ready, make your way onto your back because we have some glute bridges to chest press coming up next. We love ourselves some booty building workouts, am I right? So keep those glutes nice and tight as you drive your hips up, hold them in place to complete that chest press motion, and then bring your arms back down flat on the mat before lowering your hips down and repeating the movement once again. If you want a modified version, we're going to lose the chest press and just stick to our glute bridges, driving those hips up, really squeezing those glutes at the top, and then slowly lowering back down. All right, y'all, finish up that last rep. We have 1 more exercise left in round 1, which is going to be lat pullovers, and then we'll take a little bit of a longer break before starting round 2. Similar to the glute bridge, we're going to lie on our backs with our feet flat on the mat. We'll start with that dumbbell over top of our chest before we bring it over and behind our head and lower it down toward the ground. We want to keep a slight bend in our elbows so that we're not hyperextending and keeping this movement very slow and controlled. If you need a modified version, lose the weight and simply do the lat pullovers with your body weight instead. You are on your last 10 seconds, and this is the last exercise in round 1, so finish off strong. You're going to get a little bit of a longer rest before we start round 2. Awesome job on that first round. Grab some water, grab a towel if you worked up a sweat, and take advantage of this quick break before we get started with round 2. All the exercises are going to be exactly the same, so you know what's coming. I want you to really focus on your form this round and make sure that we're doing all the movements slow and controlled. Quick side note, as we're finishing off this rest, I recently got my permanent retainer removed, and I am having the hardest time pronouncing things the same way, especially with my S's. So if you're noticing a difference from my other videos, that's why. It's like I'm trying to learn how to talk all over again without a big piece of metal in my mouth. So bear with me while I figure it out. Anyways, back to business. Let's get set up for those goblet squats, 2 calf raises. When we're doing squats, we're trying to lower down to at least a 90-degree angle in our knees before we push ourselves back up. Everybody's body is different, so if you're feeling a lot of tightness in your hips that's stopping you from getting to that depth, try adjusting your stance a little bit by widening your feet and doing more of a sumo squat to see if it allows you to get a little bit lower. It's important to remember that everybody starts at different levels, so give yourself that grace to adjust and modify as you need, because the goal isn't to look like everybody else doing the exercise. The goal is to make sure you're getting the most benefit out of the exercise when you're doing it. Nice job, you guys. Coming up next, we've got those hammer curls to presses. And again, if you need to modify this exercise, just remove that press at the top and stick to the hammer curls. I want you to be really slow and controlled with this movement and try to pay attention to the swing in your body as you're bringing those dumbbells up to your shoulders and lowering them back down for that hammer curl. It's really easy to rely on momentum for curls, so we just want to make sure that we are using our biceps when we're doing them and not our momentum from our body swing. And as you're performing those presses, make sure you're not hyperextending your elbows. Keep a slight bend even at the top because we don't want to harm our joints as we do the movement. All right, y'all, we have those reverse lunges coming up. And now that I know we also have plank rows, I'm thinking the lunges aren't so bad anymore. So let's get to it. Make sure that if you chose to do the modified version in round 1, that we are switching legs. So we're not doing the same leg that we did in round 1. And instead we're evening out both sides by doing the other leg for this second round. For your lunges, if you want them to be more glute focused, keep a slight lean forward in your torso. Keep that back straight, of course, and the core engaged. Another tip is to keep your knee at 90 degree, which means it is staying directly over your ankle and not traveling forward. This will put the load more on your glute and less on your quad. Awesome job. That was our last standing exercise. So when you're ready, make your way onto your mat for those fire hydrants with extensions. We are building the side booty with this movement, so remember that as you're lifting, we want to really engage those glutes and keep the movement nice and slow and controlled. Of course, the modified version is always there for you if you need it. Just remove that extension and focus solely on lifting your leg up to the side and bringing it back down. Guys are doing so awesome. You're on your last 10 seconds and then we only have 2 exercises left for this entire workout. So I don't want you to slow down now. I want you to keep pushing through these movements, even though I know you're starting to feel the fatigue. We are so close to the end and we're gonna finish out strong because I know you can. So no excuses. We're doing plank hold with row and I promise this is the last time you're gonna see this exercise today. It is really important that our core is engaged in this workout, especially as we add in those rows. If you feel anything at all in your lower back, I want you to lower your knees because it is far more important for you to modify and not harm your lower back than try and push through when you're feeling it in the wrong spots. If you are keeping those knees off the mat, you can play with the placement of your feet a little bit to help with stability. The wider your feet are, the easier it will be to keep your core stable and avoid any of that swaying side to side as you're going in for those rows. Well, I'm realizing now that I said we only had 2 more exercises left when we really had 3. So now we're down to our last 2 exercises. Get set up for those glute bridges to press next. I know I'm starting to sound like a bit of a broken record, but keep that core really engaged and those glutes squeezed nice and tight at the top of this movement because we don't want that load on your lower back as we're going through those chest presses. For the chest presses, we want our shoulders to be at more of a 45-degree angle and less of a 90-degree angle. And when we get to the top of that movement, try not to hyperextend those elbows. Keep a slight bend even when you reach the top to protect the joints, and then lower back down nice and slow and controlled. Okay, hopefully you guys are still with me. We're on our last workout. I know that I miscounted, so I am so sorry about that, but this is it. This is the last one. So let's set up for those lat pullovers. Just as the name of this exercise suggests, we want to feel this movement mainly in our lats. So as you're lifting back up, once the dumbbell is above your head and on the ground, I want you to focus on contracting your lats in order to start the movement and bring that dumbbell back up and over your chest. You are on your last 15 seconds of this entire workout, and I'm not going to let you slack off on these last 10. So keep pushing because the only person you're cheating is yourself when you're taking the easy route. Amazing job, you guys are done with your workout and now you get to go through the rest of your day knowing you already got your movement in. But before we part ways, let's finish off with a cool down. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position as we start to shift gears and bring that heart rate down. We're going to take some deep breaths, sweeping our arms up and overhead. We'll release that breath and bring our arms back down to our sides. Do this again a few times. This is helping us to release any tension that we are still holding on to from that workout we just completed. Let's finish off with one more deep breath in before releasing it and moving on to some shoulder rolls. We want to start by rolling our shoulders forward. We did a lot of exercises that involved our shoulders. We just want to make sure we take some time to fully release any tension that's built up in our shoulders. Switch directions when you're ready. If you're on your knees like me, swing your legs forward and bring the soles of your feet together for a butterfly stretch to help stretch out our hips. These cool downs are important to signal to our body that we are done working and we're ready to bring our body back to a natural state. Our final stretch today is going to be downward dog. So when you're ready, come up onto your hands and your feet. Pedal those feet if it feels good. If not, just keep in the downward dog. Once you feel like you've gotten a good stretch, go ahead and lower those knees and come to child's pose. Feel free to hang out as long as you need to. This is where we're going to end our cool down. Nice work today, you guys. Awesome job, guys. You made it to the end. I know this one was a bit more challenging, so be sure to get lots of rest and water to help your body recover. If you like this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you at the next one.